Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying retail's big show so far. My name is Kim Lewis, and I am a principal UX designer at Amazon for the Buy with Prime team. And my focus is on Prime member shopping experiences on merchant websites. And I'm excited to chat today with an e-commerce merchant in the kids' smart device space who has seen massive success with Buy with Prime, so much that they wanted to offer Prime on their website using our custom API solutions. But before we bring our guests on stage, I want to start describing a little bit of the journey that we've been on with Buy with Prime. If you're not familiar with Buy with Prime, it gives Prime members the ability to use their Prime shopping benefits like fast free delivery and easy returns, except now they can use them directly on your website. And merchants who've been offering Buy with Prime so far have been attracting new shoppers. They've been increasing their site conversion with the trust of Prime, as well as streamlining fulfillment with Amazon. There we go. And if you've seen Buy with Prime on a site before, you might be familiar with our Buy Now experience, where shoppers see the Buy with Prime button on a product detail page. They then select that button and would sign in with their Amazon account if they weren't already signed in the browser. And then they're able to check out from a single screen using their Amazon wallet details. And through this, they're able to get their Prime shopping benefits like fast free delivery and easy returns. And since launching this experience, we've continued to invest in our shopper experiences, including partnerships with Shopify and with Salesforce Commerce Cloud, as well as announcing some exciting new partnerships this year with both PayPal and TikTok. And customers so far have been reporting high satisfaction with the checkout process, about 95% based on shopper surveys, while merchants have been experiencing, on average, a 20% increase in shopper conversion when offering Buy with Prime. And of course, we love getting direct feedback from our customers. This is one example from Bare Minerals, who saw a 60% increase in shopper conversion, which ultimately led to an increase in revenue as well. At Amazon, a big focus of ours is continually improving our products for customers based on the feedback that we get from them. And as part of that, we've done customer interviews and A/B testing, as well as user research with both our shoppers and our merchants. And there's a few important things that we've learned through that process. The first is that with that Buy Now experience that I showed you earlier, shoppers had a hard time discovering Prime eligible products. And part of the reason for that was they didn't see any Prime branding until they landed on that product page. So being able to see Prime branding, being able to filter by Prime and search by Prime really goes a long way in helping them to discover Prime eligible products where they can use their benefits. And the reason why this is so important is we also learned that shoppers are more likely to add an item to their cart when they can see that Prime branding earlier in their shopping funnel. We also learned that shoppers expect to see Prime delivery speeds at checkout, where they can easily compare it to other options by both price and speed. And none of this is too surprising, as these are the same patterns that customers have become familiar with when shopping on Amazon. Now that we have our direct API solution, we're able to really offer a more integrated experience end-to-end in their shopping funnel in the way that customers expect to use Prime. And we heard similar feedback from the brands that we work with. They really wanted Prime to go on their site in a way that felt more integrated with their brand, that worked with their existing site features, more than the separate checkout, more than the blue Buy with Prime button. And so it really made sense to align to what our merchants were looking for, while also aligning to how shoppers expected to select Prime. And one of those merchants is Gabb. They are a pioneer in the kids' smart device space, and they're our first merchant to use our custom API solution to offer Prime on their website. And today I'm going to be speaking with the VP of Growth Marketing at Gabb, Russ Hanig, who's going to chat a little bit about their journey with our APIs and why they wanted to elevate their shopping experience further with Buy with Prime. But before I welcome Russ to the stage, we'll check out a short demo of the new experience on their website. How cool is that? I would love to welcome Russ to the stage to learn more.
We were joking whether these have been used or not, so I just brought up my own.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Russ, for joining us today. Really excited to have you here. I would love to just start with telling the audience a little bit more about yourself.
So at Gabb, I've been at Gabb for about 2 years, and we've been around as a company for about 5. So we started because we saw a need with kids and safe tech, right? So help them stay away from social media and help them to be able to learn tech in steps. So, what we see commonly around the world, but especially in America, is parents are getting begged for a phone. And so they need to keep in touch with their child. And so they will give them an adult smartphone. And that's like taking your kid and throwing him into the deep end of the pool without swim lessons. And frankly, it's crushing our kids. And so that's where our company was born out of. And again, I've been a part of the journey for a couple of years, but it's exciting to see how many people are excited about it with us.
We're really excited about your mission as well. And I just really love Gabb's mission about protecting families through safe smartphones and devices. Can you just share a little bit more about that mission and how Gabb works to build trust with customers in alignment with that?
Yeah. So we use the tagline safely connected. So to be able to connect and let our kids connect all over, but do it safely. So, trust is huge. When a mom is looking for a device, they are looking for a device that isn't a full-time job to manage all the parental controls. And then also a company that has been around that can really keep their kids safe. So we've had to build all this on our own. Big tech isn't super excited about creating things for kids necessarily. And so we have our own devices. We create our own software, and then we also provide the cell service as well. So for example, with Trust, we saw that kids wanted music, for example. And so we went to the biggest music labels in the world, Sony and Universal and Warner, and said, hey, let's create a music service for kids where we can take out music that parents wouldn't want their kid to listen to. A little less Jay-Z, a little more maybe Taylor Swift. But because we partnered with those companies, mom was able to say, okay, yeah, they're legitimate. They're really trying to put, it's not just kids bop music. This is real music. And it helped to have a partner that could build that trust.
Yeah. And as a new technology hardware business, you mentioned like a little bit on that, working with maybe companies that help to earn trust. Can you share a little bit more about the levers you're using to build that trust further, how you maybe select your partnerships in that way?
Yeah. So maybe this is where I kind of dive into our experience with Buy with Prime. So last year we saw what you showed, the button and how easy it was to integrate the button on your site, and that we could have Prime all over our site. And we did it right before holiday last year. We put that button on our site. When you click the button, just like Kim showed, it opens up an Amazon checkout. It increased our conversion rate on our site by 30%. So we were super excited about what that meant. But in conversations right after holiday with the Buy with Prime team, we saw that there could be so much more. And so just even having the Prime logo next to our logo was a big elevation for us.
That's great to hear. And you touched on a little bit earlier some of the challenges that your customers face in trying to protect their families and stay connected. Can you share a little bit more about what some of those challenges are?
Yeah, I think that, again, when you're trying to keep your kids safe, you're trying to make sure that, again, it's not a full-time job. Parental controls on a leading phone that I won't mention here are a full-time job. It's a lot of work. And so that's one of our biggest challenges. And also, have you ever traded out your cell phone? It's like awful. My wife just got a new phone. We had to go into the store. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'll be out in the car. This is going to take like 2 hours. So that's one of the biggest challenges is how do we make that checkout experience really simple, and also something they can trust.
And what interested you in offering a Prime shopping experience on your site initially?
Yeah, I think initially it was about conversion rate with the button, but then we started to see some really cool things come as a result. So in January, February, when we started to meet with the Buy with Prime team, you mentioned the APIs. We have worked so hard to create that easy checkout experience on our site. And while the initial widget for Buy with Prime was good and easy to implement, it took people away from our site. So this new experience allowed customers to go through our very optimized, hopefully simple experience of choosing a cell phone plan, et cetera, and how to keep their kids safe, but have all of the Prime benefits with it. So to be able to get get fast free shipping, for example, and when they're checking out, all of their information, and once they log in, as you saw, all the information from Amazon comes over. So it makes checkout like that much faster. So yeah, just a cool evolution. And we had times this last holiday with our API integration with Buy with Prime where 30 to 40% of our sales were choosing Prime,
Wow.
which is amazing. Yeah.
You touched on that a little bit. You talked about the increasing conversion you saw with the button and just some of the holiday metrics. What are just generally some of the results that you've seen so far with Prime?
Yeah. So I should back up, results with Prime. So you can see this screenshot here. So when you see our phone, you see Prime eligible at the bottom. Before we launched this API integrated solution with Buy with Prime, we pulled 5 moms and we just had them walk through the experience just to hear, do they even see Prime? Does it make sense to them? One of the most exciting parts, because we knew it was going to already continue to help our conversion rate, but 4 out of the 5 moms in that very first session, all on their own mentioned, oh, well, I can see Prime here. So I can see that Amazon's probably involved, which means I probably get all my Prime benefits. I don't know, but that helps me know that this is a legitimate company. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. We were all high-fiving each other afterwards. And that's what we saw for holiday, is so many people choosing Prime. Maybe another unlock, which is really exciting. We obviously ship a physical good. So if any of you are in this same space with shipping a physical good for holiday, it's like December 16th, 17th, you sort of have to cut everything off because then you can't get it in time for Christmas, right? And so we've always, every single holiday, that's kind of when our holiday ends. But with Buy with Prime and having integrated on our site, we had a whole get it in time with Prime from the 16th to like the 22nd of December that opened up a whole new window. That's a whole new customer that's a lot like me who waits the very last minute to buy something for their kids. So it opened up a whole new window of opportunity to sell.
That's amazing. And that sounds also very familiar in my household. I think my husband probably falls into that last minute shopper category as well.
Oh, bless us husbands, right? We even get told what to buy and we wait till the last minute.
Well, we're glad to hear how that's been able to extend that shopping window. I also am curious, you've had, Prime on your site for just under a year, then you went and added the APIs. Can you share a little bit about the journey in switching to the APIs, what that has been like for you?
Yeah. So we've been on Amazon longer, and, Amazon.com and that business is important to us, but it's sometimes hard to manipulate some of those things. And it was the complete opposite with Buy with Prime. We started integrating with these APIs, and the Buy with Prime team was incredibly responsive. Hey, we have this need. We have this need. Mom wants this. And hey, this is going to be better if we do this. And could we get this data back, Buy with Prime? And every single time it was either, yes, we can do that, or let's figure it out. And that just felt so good to know that we had a relationship with the Buy with Prime team where they were in it with us and they wanted to help us succeed. And so that's what makes me excited for this coming year, knowing that we just launched this. We saw great success from it. What could we do this year? Like, how can we optimize it even further?
That's great to hear. And of course, we appreciate working with Gabb as well. I know that it's still early, but what are some of the biggest benefits you've seen with the API?
Yeah, I think that kind of mentioned it. If you have a site that you've really optimized and A/B tested the heck out of it, like we have, you don't want to take people away. And so I think the biggest thing is keeping them on your site through the whole process. And then having, again, Amazon sort of lift our brand. But I don't know if it shocked me, but it was super interesting that I think it was Black Friday or Cyber Monday. 40% of our sales were Buy with Prime orders. So it was very intuitive. It wasn't a crazy clunky experience. It was, you saw it there, you go to the end cart and hey, sign in for Prime benefits, get it in 2 days or overnight, depending where you live. And it was so cool to see how many people chose that. And maybe I'll give one little tidbit that's cool. So we have an identifier for every phone, for example, called an IMEI that Amazon actually, through Buy with Prime, they capture that for us when they ship it. So while Prime is shipping that, they tell us that device that's being sold. And so we activate it for mom when she gets it, which is crazy. She gets it in 1 to 2 days. It's activated when she gets it. And then she gets all the benefits of Prime as well, which is cool.
Very cool. And what are some of Gabb's goals coming into this next year?
Well, I think that, again, we're on a mission to teach kids tech and steps and to protect our kids. Social media is crushing our kids, and cell phones are crushing our kids, and we have to do something about it. So I think that we want to protect millions of kids. It's the most nonprofit for-profit I've ever worked for. It's so exciting. And we know that there is more that we need to do to help with kids as well. So, it's exciting for moms to have the solution, but we want to have more solutions for kids. So we have Gabb Music, we have Gabb Cloud that helps. We have safe video calling that within a millisecond of seeing, nudity, it turns off, right? So more of those solutions, and having Prime right there next to us, we know will just elevate our brand. I will mention one other thing. We did some testing during holiday, doing a lockup like you see on this slide, where Gabb Buy with Prime was at the end of our commercial, or was at the end or on a carousel on social. And our click rate with those, at least initially for holiday, was higher than what we were showing with just Gabb. Again, trust. So we're excited to do way more of that this year.
Yeah, and you mentioned a few, I think, examples around this, but how does Prime help with some of those goals of building trust with the customer? You mentioned some users in your research, their feedback, but curious if there's any other thoughts that come to mind.
I think that people just, it's a hard consumer electronics in our world is just hard anyway. But the customer, the deeper and deeper we go into TAM, the more a customer just expects us to be an iPhone and be that simple. And so, Prime gives us the opportunity to have the checkout and the shipping be exactly what they would expect with so much of what they buy on Amazon already. So the more we're trying to make it simpler, easier for mom and kid, the more Prime just kind of like fits right in, because that's not a core competency for us to ship in 2 days or 1 day, or have millions of customers already in their database like Amazon does, that when they log in, it brings all of their information over. All of those things we couldn't do on our own. So that is just kind of fits into our overall mission of trying to make it simple and easy, but keep them safely connected.
Great. That's great to hear. And what are some of your, what's next rather for Gabb and Prime?
Yeah, I think I mentioned a little bit. We want to do some more co-branding. We think that there is some benefit there. And I think that we also have, what's cool is they buy the physical product, the phone, but then we're on our back end can still do all of the service. And so we have some really, really cool solutions that'll be coming later this year that might involve a big, one of the major smartphones for adults. And we think that Prime will just elevate that experience because we've already learned how to do this. And we think that that's going to even be even easier. So we're excited to do more that way as well.
That's great. Well, we're so excited for all of that and have really appreciated working with the Gabb team together, and really appreciate you coming here to share your experience so far.
We've loved working with you guys too. Excited for the future.
Awesome. Well, that's all that we have for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you so much to Russ.